So the previous video we had a structure fire where we had a clean hall after investigation. We have the same 4-story center hall occupancy in this scenario, but this time we're going to find a dirty hall. So in the following pictures you'll see how quickly the hall can get filled with smoke once the door is forced. So if we see any of these smoky conditions, we're going to have to call it a dirty hall, and we're going to have to operate with our SCBA for fire attack. So for these scenarios, we're not going to be able to stretch in the hallway, and because of the access and the height of the floor, we're going to decide that we're going to do an opposite apartment stretch or an adjacent apartment. So just like the previous, you want to make sure that the door is closed to the fire occupancy. Control that door, and then you're going to bump across the hall, close the door behind you to keep that safe environment, and then you can start stretching in the occupancy. If your driver's inside or you have an extra firefighter, they can start working on the drop while the nozzle firefighter starts stretching their bundle. And just like the previous video, you'll move the straps, making sure to pocket a strap just in case the line needs to be extended. If you have an extra firefighter, you can also move furniture to try to minimize the amount of materials in the way of the line. Grab your 2 opposite bites, stretch out your line, and you can also hand your coupling to the driver or the second firefighter, or start moving extra line out onto the balcony if needed, if you need extra line. Try to make sure you have your 50 feet of working length to get ready to access across the hall, and then get ready to call for water once the coupling drop's been made. Okay, so for this one we're going to show a coupling drop. We want the driver ideally to bring an extra 50 feet of working length with them when they bring the bundle from the static, just in case extra line is needed. So you're going to drop your coupling, and by bringing that extra working length, in case the firefighter needs more hose, he can pull it back up with them. As a driver, you don't want them to come up short. So if you have enough line, you can start working on tying off the line, or if you need to pull it up, you can pull up extra line as needed. But you want to make sure that you tie off this line prior to calling for water. So ideally our firefighters should carry a short piece of webbing with the carabiner that they can tie off to the railing. So now for a rope drop, carry the rope bag with you. This way, in case you can pull up line if needed, instead of dropping your coupling, if you want to make sure that you have the full working length up top, the full 100 feet. I prefer to drop the carabiner because then it's easier for the driver just to use the carabiner, do a girth hitch, and then you can pull up the line. If you want, you can also drop the rope bag and they can tie a clove hitch. Once they're ready, you can pull up the extra line that's needed. And I like to step on the line just to make sure the driver doesn't pull any extra line, to make sure you don't lose it. Make sure you take off the rope used to hoist and just get it out of the way, so when you go to tie it off or to charge the line doesn't get caught or tangled. Make your connection, and then once the connection's made, just like before, you're going to want to tie off this line using any webbing that you have in your pocket to make sure that once it's charged, it doesn't drop.